Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thanks so much for joining us. We certainly appreciate you taking the time and we appreciate you being here, obviously. How much did we spend, our lifestyle, how much did we spend in January 2026? This is a little different. This is not a budget video. I want to make that clear, but how much did we spend? All right. What did it cost us here in Angeles in January? Well, you know something? Let's talk about it.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance, no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Okay. I need to preface this by saying a couple of different things. This is not a video about an extravagant lifestyle. It really and truly is not. In fact, more than anything, it's a video of being excess. All right? Because what we've done is we've taken all of our expenses, they're all categorized, okay? And we're going to show them to you. We're not going to show you our income. We're not going to show you everywhere else. All right. In other words, this is related just to living here in Angeles City and what we spent in Angeles City. Doesn't include the home in Mindanao. Doesn't include our U.S. expenses. Doesn't include, any expenses anywhere else. And it doesn't include my daughter's expenses. Now, with all of that being said, what we're going to do is show you all of that. And then what we're going to do is show you all the needless, absolutely unnecessary expenses, the frivolous expenses. And then you can start to judge for yourself. We're not going to tell you how much it's going to cost you to do X, Y, and Z. Budgets and what individuals want are so different. It all depends on people's positions, situations, desires, what they planned for, what they didn't. So that's important to keep in mind. The second thing is that you need to recognize, people need to recognize that we planned this years in advance. This was not an unexpected lifestyle whatsoever. We weren't in economic hardship in the U.S. and chose to come to the Philippines because of that at all. But it's still relevant because you don't get to where you want to be unless you watch how you spend your money. And we have significant frivolous expenses. So let's just take a look at where we end up with all of this, okay? So let me just switch this over. And here you go. Now, I do get a ration of shit about spreadsheets and this and that. I think it just makes it easier for people to follow it, number one. And number two, it's something I do anyways. We track everything. If you don't keep track of your money, if you don't keep track of your finances, if you don't plan, well, you're pretty much destined for failure at some point, or at least to come up with it. So, first off, housing. Our condo, all right? Now, we own a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 120 square meters. Every room's got air conditioning unit here in Candy Resorts here in Angeles City. Is it as big as I'd like it to be? No. But is it more than sufficient? Without a doubt. Now, let's just go through it. So we have our service fees. We have our homeowners association service fees. That's 11,000 pesos a month, or $189 a month. Okay, that is flat. It's the way it is. That's the exact cost every month. Electric, 6,400. This was a little bit more than usual this month because we were doing certain things. But either way, usually we're somewhere between 5 and 6,000, but we spent 6,400 a month. All right. Staff tips. Yes, we do take care of the staff. In other words, we recognize their effort to take care of us. All right. So we have security 24/7 at the front door. We have a doorman on top of security 24/7. We have 24/7 management at the desk. The front desk is open 24/7 as well. All right. And then we have management on site as well. We tip the doorman and we tip security. And big deal. The three of them together, 500 pesos each, 1,500 a month. All right. They help Arlen carry in groceries when I'm not around. They help with everything. I mean, they're just, you can't knock it. So they're there. But you don't have to pay that. But we'll come back to that. Property tax on the unit. Okay, so we have property taxes. This is not a markup situation from Candy. Candy doesn't pay this, and we reimburse them. Arlen and I, we go down to City Hall. We get the exact amount, 12,243 pesos. Boom, done. All right. Property tax on the building. So the resort owns the building, so to speak. All right. And you have property taxes on the building itself. Now, don't confuse this with the property tax we have on the unit, but you've got the building property tax. Okay. 6,763. That's our share. It's all divided by square meters. Individual units get assigned that amount. Air conditioning maintenance. We didn't have any in January. All right. We really and truly didn't, but it's in there. Upgrades and remodel, 21,000. Well, yeah. What we did do was we had custom made sliding screen doors for our balconies. In other words, we have 3 8-foot, 7-foot double pane, heavy duty balcony sliding glass doors. And we finally got around to putting screen doors in on top of that. So there was 3 of those. And because I wanted them recessed the way I wanted it, they're more expensive. You can get them done, but either way, that's what it costs. All right. Special assessments. We've only had one special assessment ever since we lived here. And that's when the city made changes in the fire code and they had to install exhaust systems in case there was a fire. General maintenance, none. Everything worked okay until day before yesterday. All right. But that'll be on next month's. Furnishings, we didn't buy any. All right. So now vehicles, SUV. We have an SUV. We have a Toyota Fortuner that we bought new back in 2022, I think it was. All right. So every year. And you should keep in mind, remember this, January is our second most expensive month here in the Philippines. June is actually our most expensive. And that's because I bring my daughter over every June for 3 weeks and it ain't cheap. All right. SUV inspection, 1,100 pesos. Comprehensive insurance. That's going to be your excess insurance, your in the U.S. we call it comprehensive. They call it something else. All right, but it is what it is. CTPL. Now, CTPL is comprehensive or compulsory something or another insurance, right? But it is insurance that is mandatorily, you buy it when you get your registration and inspection done. It's the minimum insurance is, we would call it collision in the U.S. All right. Registration. Every year you got to register the vehicle. It has to renew 2,300. Fuel. We didn't really go very far, whatever. And quite frankly, our SUV is diesel. It gets excellent mileage. We didn't really spend much on that. 3,000 pesos. Maintenance. There was no maintenance. Repairs. No repairs. We also have an e-trike for little short hops here, there. JJ's is right up the road. Rather than carrying groceries and everything, rather than having to try and fight the parking and everything, we take the e-trike. No maintenance, no repair. All right. Visas. Every year, all right. I have an ACRI or ACR1 13A visa. It's a spousal visa. Okay. I only have to renew that once every 5 years. And I'm big deal. This was not one of those years. Annual report. All foreigners with ACR cards that are here over a certain amount of time have to do an annual report. It's due January, February of every year. All right. You do it online. It took literally less than 10 minutes. Piece of cake. You hold up your passport in one hand, your ACR card in the other hand. They go through the information that they have on file. Boom, boom, done. Okay? 1,300 pesos. You could go to immigration itself to do your annual report, and it would be about half that, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong. But it's cheaper. All right? Transportation. We don't use the car to go everywhere. All right. And I'll explain that. But trike, we spent 1,400 pesos on trikes. All right. We spent 785 pesos on Grab taxi. We didn't go anywhere, so we didn't have any bus fares, and we didn't have any flights. Medical. All right. Let's be very up front. There are two things you need to recognize. I was born with a chronic disease. I make no qualms about it. I have been on injected insulin all my life. I take 4 to 5 injections a day, and at its worst, I've had to take more. That's just all there is to it. I can't argue it. I can't do anything about it, but I planned for these expenses. I knew what my medical was going to cost, or I knew it wasn't going to be cheap. So, my cardiologist, I have an interventional cardiologist that I see. All right, it's the beginning of the year. I have follow-up exams. So I had to go see my cardiologist, 800. My endocrinologist, I did not need to go see. My pulmonologist, 800 pesos. My nephrologist, 800 pesos. If you have diabetes, it affects every system in your body, something you have to deal with. All right, AUF, Medical Hospital and Clinic, nothing there. TMC, now when I have an emergency, which I've had 2 since we've lived here, it's TMC. That's where we go. Clark, the medical clinic, the medical city at Clark. That's where we go. January, I had nothing. All right. I've only been twice. 3 times. Once was just in and out, but twice I got admitted. But anyways, so nothing there. All right. Prescriptions. Now, you may be on a lot of different drugs. I'm on statins for my heart. All right. I did have a heart attack in 2013. I'm on cholesterol. I'm on a couple of drugs that reduce the amount of protein in my body. A couple of different things. So it is what it is. You could be on whatever. Who knows? Maybe you want to put your Viagra in there. I could care less. All right. Immunizations and vaccines. Normally that would be zero, but I got a pneumonia vaccine. I had the pneumonia vaccine in January. My cardiologist wanted me to have it. They're good for 5 years, so I had it. Apedra, all right, which is insulin, a type of fast reacting insulin, all right, 870 pesos. Insulin R, for those of you that are diabetic type 1, okay, insulin R is cheap here. It really is. So that's 3 Solo Star pens, essentially, is what it comes down to. Insulin Ryzodeg Flex Touch, which is another self-loaded pen. All right. The Ryzodeg 10,020. I go through, I don't know how many of those a month. That's a slow release. It has a little bit of fast acting and then a slow release. Lantus. Some of you may be on Lantus. It's readily available here. Lantus is a slow release as well. I don't use it. I find the Ryzodeg works perfectly for me. That's what it is. Glucose test strips. I have to test my sugar. I test my sugar 3 to 5 times a day, depending on what's going on. 2,242 buys me about, I want to say, 3 months worth of test strips. At least two and a half, if not 3 months worth of test strips for my sugar meter. Labs. I had to have some follow-ups. I had to have my labs, all right, for my medical exams, 3,005. Okay. Diagnostic tests, 350 pesos. I think that, if I remember correctly, that was a chest x-ray. That was it. Okay. $709. Household. Okay. So household for us is whatever it takes for cooking at home food. And we cook a lot. And it's really not that reflective here, but we really do cook a lot. Arlen and I are not, while we do go out to dinner in relation to how many meals we eat, vast majority of it is home cooked. Arlen's a great cook. I can cook. All right. I can do everything. So French bakery. Yeah. You can buy processed white bread much cheaper. All right. But I think a month's worth of unprocessed bread is just better. But number 2, I prefer multi-grain bread. And French Bakery is a place over in SM Mall, Clark, that has multi-grain bread. Occasionally, Arlen finds it at Hypermart, though. Hypermart, 1,300, food, stuff. SM Store, food, stuff. S&R, big box store. People say it compares to Costco. No, it doesn't. It's nothing. Doesn't even come close to in variety in comparison to Costco and Sam's Club when it comes to American items. But when you take internationally, it does. All right, so you've got S&R, you've got Landers, JJ Local Market. Sometimes Arlen runs up there to grab a little of this or a little of that. O-Save, another local market. Sometimes Arlen grabs a little of this, a little of that. Healthy options. We buy, S&R is where we buy a vast majority of our meat. But on occasion, we may run low on especially chicken. So Arlen goes to Healthy Options. Right up the street from us, fresh meat, packaged, clean, can't beat it. Pampang. Arlen goes to Pampang. I don't go to Pampang. Been there, done that, number 1. Number 2, I just don't like it. I don't like the crowd and everything that goes with it. But Pampang is the big market. It'll have everything: meat, fish, chicken, seafood, beef, poultry. It'll have everything. But Arlen goes there for vegetables often. Well, not often, but a couple times a month. Street markets. Sometimes we run short on fruits, especially mangoes. I eat yellow mangoes. Arlen loves green mangoes. And on occasion we run short on apples. I eat apples, and on occasion we run short on some certain cabbages and lettuce. Arlen does that. So 900 pesos. Dine out and delivery. So that was 455 bucks. Okay. Dairy Queen. Arlen had a hankering one day at SM. 129 pesos. Donuts. 365 pesos. I had a hankering twice. Okay. Jollibee. Sometimes you just want simple, quick stuff. Jollibee chicken. Okay. Oasis. So Oasis is the location. Morano's Grill is where it's at. They have a wonderful buffet. Once in a while, Arlen and I splurge. I prefer Oasis to all the other buffets that we would go to because basically it has a great salad bar and it's close. It's right up the road. Grab. So that's grab food. That'll be like a McDonald's or a Burger King, or actually more than often it's just pizza, all right, or some other type of thing. Candy restaurant. Well, once in a while we go up to where we live, all right, we have a restaurant here as well, and it's nice once in a while. It's a treat. Sometimes I feel like one of their salads. They have a great salad with cranberries and feta cheese and lettuce and tomato and all that good stuff. And, once in a while we'll get that. And it's nice they deliver it right here to the room. Indian food. We have a couple of different Indian restaurants that we use. Boom. And now you have to remember, we'll get more than one meal out of these orders. Fragrant Thai food. To us, that's the best Thai food here in town. I think it sometimes varies based on what people like and don't like. Tequila Reef, all right, Mexican food. When we go out to dinner with friends, often we're meeting at Tequila Reef. This is not uncommon, 2,800 pesos. Breakfast. I go to breakfast twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday, to meet friends, subscribers, viewers, things like that at Tequila Reef. All right. That's just all there is to it. I could just as easily flip an egg here. Arlen makes breakfast the other 5 days of the week, as long as she's in town. But breakfast runs me about 38 bucks a month, 2,200 pesos. All right. Electronic, YouTube, telecoms, and internet. DiviMate. DiviMate is a service that we use. I got no idea how many channels and shows I get. Okay? I really and truly don't. But I get every major news. I get most, even minor news stations. All right? Live events, pay-per-views, sports, TV shows. It has histories. I mean, literally, if I wanted to be a vegetable, and so I think I could probably spend a couple years before I could catch up on everything that's there. Epidemic Sound. Epidemic Sound is my music licensing. The intro that we use here, videos where we add sounds, where we have sound effects, videos where we add music. All of that is copyrighted, and so we have to have a license to use it. We get that through Epidemic Sound. Apple Cloud Storage. All right, now something you have to keep in mind, we still have U.S. stuff, all right? And so it's not just here in the Philippines. I have to have storage of data. Okay. So I have Apple Cloud Storage, and it also stores my phone stuff for instant backups in case something should happen to my phone and I don't lose everything. Netflix, 1,100 pesos, $19. We watch a lot of Netflix. We enjoy it. My T-Mobile USA phone. Now, this particular month, my contract is $55 a month, and that keeps me up. But why do I have that? Well, I have T-Mobile for a reason. Number one, more important than anything, is it's an American number that my banks, financial institutions call me on. Okay? I correspond with them. I have business dealings still in the U.S. a little bit. And with that being said, that's the number they have. They can call me. Period. End of story. It's necessary for me. I had actually I had a lot of usage this month. I mean, I get a lot for it. I have the T-Mobile Magenta plan. You can look into it. Mine gets more than what's available now, and it's kind of like grandfathered in. I've had it for a long time. My Philippine phone number. So I carry with me my Philippine phone all the time. 350 pesos. That gets me unlimited text, a certain amount of minutes in calling landlines, unlimited cellular calls, and a certain amount of data. And quite frankly, it's through Globe, and that has covered us. 2 months last year, I ran out of data. Arlene's phone, 350 pesos. Fiber, 2,000 pesos. Now, where we live in Candy, we have free internet. Okay, it's part of all these services that we receive here, but it's not. I require a much higher degree because I do Zoom calls, I do video calls, I do all kinds of stuff, and I need a better connection. I can't be in the middle of doing something where I'm getting paid and I have this problem. And this has nothing to do with YouTube whatsoever. I don't do YouTube consultations or anything like that, although I've given people help and stuff. That's not the process. But this is because of other requirements where I want sustainable nonstop. All right. Canva Pro, it's a process, it's an application that I use. Ecamm Zoom is the application I use for video conferencing. Back to the T-Mobile phone, just for a second. My mother's 86 years old. She can't use WhatsApp. Well, she could probably, but she won't. Right? And she doesn't do Facebook Messenger calls. She can't even see the buttons, but she can make a phone call. She can make a speed dial number. She's not going to do anything else. So that's another one of the reasons. Entertainment. Okay? This is a really super broad category, and I just didn't want to list everything. I feel like it would be like 50 line items at a minimum. But this would include birthday celebrations, anniversary parties, baptisms, weddings, concerts at the casinos, live music, anything that we go out to. Pool parties, bar hops, fiesta, festival, cultural events. It's essentially anything that we get invited to where we might be buying meals, bringing food, having drinks, or even a gift. It may be an instance where we've been invited to like the playoff. We've got the Super Bowl coming up on Monday. So what did we spend all together? $235,838.50. Now wait, all right, $4,000. And for some people, that's an incredibly insane amount. They don't need it. And you're right, you don't. You don't need it. All right? Instead, let's do this. Okay? Let's go up and take out everything that's frivolous, worthless, everything that didn't need to be in there. Okay? So you don't need to buy a place and have all of these expenses. You don't. You can rent, especially if you're a single guy. I'm not sure I would ever recommend that you buy a home or condo as a single guy. Okay? Now, I left the 1,640 in there. Your rent's probably going to be more than that, but we do know people who live on far less. There are expats that simply rent a room inside a home, and everything is shared, with that home. So, I mean, we left it in there. Okay? Vehicles. You absolutely do not need a vehicle. All right? You can't. It doesn't pay to have. Is it a convenience? Yeah, but it's a frivolous expense. It really is for most people. Now, there are some people it's not frivolous. That's absolutely true. But for most people, it is a frivolous expense. You'll never be able to get away, for most people, with the vehicle's cost and expense and maintaining it and insurance and everything else without just renting. You can get a scooter, you can get a driver, you can get a taxi, you can get whatever. Visas. I left it in there. You're going to have maybe a whole different visa situation. You may have an SRV and you pay, $5 a year or something like that to renew it. Some silly number. I can't remember. You may have a Balikbayan visa. You may have a tourist visa. I left ours in there, but it's not frivolous. It's necessary. Transportation. That's what we spent. That's not frivolous. It was necessary. I didn't go joyriding in taxis, and neither did Arlen. We didn't go joyriding in trikes. These were necessary. Medical. You may come here perfectly healthy, and you don't have any of these monthly expenses. Period. Now, they're not frivolous. All right. I need these expenses. But on the other hand, for you, perhaps you're going to put a couple $100 towards a catastrophic coverage of insurance, but that's totally up to you. Food and household. I left it in. Now, keep in mind, we fed 2 people and we eat well. I mean, you can see I'm no skinny guy. We eat well. I left it in there. I don't consider any of that unnecessary. Okay? Dine out and delivery. Okay. Some of that, is food. And then some of it's unnecessary. I took the Oasis out because, quite simply, it's an excessive meal. It's an excessive cost. Like, Arlen and I have reservations at Marano's for Valentine's Day. And it's $2,300, I think. $2,200, $2,300 per person for their Valentine's Day buffet celebration. It's frivolous. You don't need it. And if you're single, you only buy one. So I took it out. Electronics. You don't need all the shit that I have. Okay? I left in my USA phone because, quite frankly, it's not frivolous. I have to have it. I left Arlen's phone out because does she really need a phone? If you ask any Filipino, hell yeah. But does she really need it? I took it out. But, I mean, what's an extra 350 pesos? All right. Entertainment. I left entertainment in there because you can't be an isolationist. You just can't do it, and you shouldn't do it. You need to have a social. I mean, you can see, just like isolationism has been proven for hundreds of years to be the downfall of different civilizations, all right? It's the downfall of expats as well. When you don't have friends, when you don't have, in fact, I'll be doing a video on something that has transpired with a friend here in the not too distant future. But when you don't have a circle of acquaintances, when you isolate yourself, you're in trouble. I don't care. That's just the bottom line. So when you take out all the frivolous nonsense, the stuff that we didn't need, this is where we ended up. 95,288 pesos or $1,600. That's what we need. Now, would we have much of a life? Well, in comparison to where we are or what we are, no, we don't think so. Okay? That's not the life that I signed up for as a retired individual. Okay? I wasn't going to give up my social network. I wasn't going to give up certain things. But on the other hand, are they necessary? No, they're not. I don't know. I mean, you have to tell us in the comments below. You should tell us, is this too much? Was it enough? Is it frivolous? What do you expect? All right. These are not a budget video. This is showing you what we spent that was unnecessary, that we could have lived without, other than medication. That's a necessary item, okay? There was no way around that for me, but for you, it wouldn't be. So I took that out. All of that being said, first off, please do subscribe. Do hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this. This was a lot of effort. We're going to put this out. If the response is reasonable, we're going to do one of these every month because you'll be surprised to see how things go. But otherwise, look, we hope you're doing well. We hope this helps you a little bit. We hope it shows you we may live in a condo, but our life isn't excessive by any way, shape, or means. However, once in a while, it gets expensive. And you need to be prepared for that. So this is what our January cost us. June, a much more expensive month, but that's the way life goes. February and March, it's got a couple expenses coming up that are going to jerk them up a little bit, but nothing major. You know what? All in all, let us know if this video did you any good. Let us know if this information was worthwhile for you as a future expat, as a current expat, as a tourist, as somebody that's just trying to compare what life is like in the U.S. or wherever you're at to our life here. Please do. Otherwise, we wish you the very best. We hope you're healthy. Have a great day.